We think of human trafficking as something that happens over there, but the reality is it's very much a horrifying reality here in Canada. Just this week, 31 people were arrested in York Region and more than 300 charges laid in connection with a human trafficking ring that forced women into the sex trade industry. Joining me now is Dominique Hawley. She's a young entrepreneur here from Toronto, but is riding from Windsor to Ottawa to raise awareness about human trafficking and what a frightening issue it is here in Ontario itself. Dominique, thank you very much for joining us this morning. What got you inspired to want to do this, to ride across the province to try and raise awareness?
So I'm currently making a documentary about human trafficking in Ontario, and the more stories I hear of victims and parents of the impact of human trafficking, I decided while I was making the documentary that there was something else I wanted to do. So I decided to bike from Windsor to Ottawa to further raise awareness.
And I think people always think of it, as I said, over there. It's something that doesn't happen here, or people are brought in. But most of the human trafficking that happens here in Canada, and specifically in Ontario, which is 60% of the human trafficking in Canada, it's local. People are from here who are being forced into the sex trade industry as labor.
Yeah, it's domestic. So they're usually born and raised in Canada. They're not usually from other countries.
What's the reception been like as you make your way up from Windsor up to here?
It's been really great. So there's been a lot of reception, and the most startling thing for me is how unaware people are. So human trafficking happens in high schools, it happens in small cities, it happens in small towns, and what's shocking for me is how unaware people are, and that's how human trafficking thrives, in how unaware people are.
It hides in the shadows.
Yeah.
Are there things people can be aware of, things people can look for?
Yeah. So, the average age of somebody when they start getting targeted for human trafficking is 14. So as a parent, it's extremely important to educate your children at a very young age of what human trafficking can look like. They target them on social media, they target them in person, in the malls. So education on that at a teenage level is really, really crucial. And then obviously from the government down is also really, really important.
What would you like to see the government doing about it? Because this is really our problem. This isn't something that's coming from elsewhere. This is our problem.
Yeah, it's domestic. So what I'm really passionate about is the education piece. And I really think it needs to be in schools. Children, teenagers need to know what it looks like because it's happening. They just don't know the language to say this is happening to me. And so when they put when they can put the language in it, I think that's where there'll be some movement against fighting against it. So I think definitely the education piece for sure.
Now you're going to be heading to Ottawa over the next, I believe, 10 days, right?
Yeah,
10 or 12 days. You're on the road again. You'll be talking to more people along the way. Do you hope to meet with whoever forms the next government?
That would be great for sure. And what I'm focused on right now is, the average person, because I think the average person, when they use their voice and we can band together, that's how we can fight human trafficking. And so if everybody used their voice and took one small step, I think that would make the massive difference and impact.
All right, Dominique, thanks very much for joining us this morning. And BeTheOne.love is the website, and you'll direct people if you want to make donations to the various groups that are helping as well, right?
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Ride safe, and we appreciate you coming in today.